Daniel, lad, on with you today, right? Because pretty much want to go over your story and pretty much how you went from being a spark, right, to now transitioning into being a full-time closer. So run us through it, lad. Like, first of all, like how long have you been, I guess, up and going and closing for now? And run me through that.
So I'm closing full time now for it's been about 4 months, right? But obviously you know yourself. Everyone's got this idea of, oh, I'm gonna get in fucking 2, 3 weeks, do an
Yeah.
hour at night, and that's gonna be my life set. I'll be taking calls in bloody Thailand. Not how it goes.
hmm
Do you know what I mean? You know that yourself. I think that's something that everyone misunderstands. Do you know what I mean?
hmm Well, it's like anything, right? You're learning a new skill. Like obviously for you, you were in the trades before this, right? What exactly was it you were doing?
So, bro, I was an electrician before this, right? So, but I must have been maybe 16, 17. Started getting into becoming an electrician. Done my apprenticeship, right? Trying everything, bro. I tried anything you can name online, bro. I've tried it. Drop shipping, trading, all of it, right? Spent so much money, so much time, just couldn't get the hang of it. And I was sitting down with myself and going, right, what do I actually want to do? What do I actually want to do, right? So the last the last 6 months transition from me, oh bro, that transitional period from being a spark to being a closer was next level. We'll get into that in a second. But that transitional type of period, I was like that. There was no way I'm doing this for the rest of my life. It is not happening. It's not happening. But I think the thing and kind of where I'm from, obviously I'm from Scotland, if you can't tell by the accent, right?
hmm
You know that already, but just for people that are watching.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
The thing is, like, everyone just judges you straight up. Like, if you're doing something online or you're trying to better your life, if there's a traditional path, pub at the weekend, fucking blowing powder up your nose,
hmm
getting out, that's what the traditional is. As soon as you try and go off that, bro, gay, 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 all the time, straight away, right? But I was like that. Either I follow this path and become like these guys, watched it happen before, or I try and do something and I really stick at it. So that's what I've done.
Mm.
Um, that's what happened.
See, so it seems like obviously you're outside Glasgow, right? And it's very similar mindset in terms of Ireland, where if you're not going and getting on the bag and the beers every weekend, what is wrong with this clown? Like, oh, you're somebody, right? But you said before when you were sparking, there was a period where you thought yourself, I'm not doing this for the rest of my life. What do you think feel like that stemmed from? Or like what was it that changed your mindset that you didn't want to do it forever? Or was that always what you knew was going to happen going into it? It was just like a short-term thing or
100%, bro. I think when everyone from kind of where I'm from, right, just ends up doing it, right? Like
mm,
they don't make the decision for themselves and go, this is what I want to do. They just fall into an apprenticeship, fall into doing something like that because of what that's what everyone else does.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They think, yeah, yeah, in a few years' time, I'm going to be making six, £700 a week. That sounds amazing. When you're 16, 17, that sounds great, right? But when you get into it, year two, year three, everyone starts to realize that money isn't great, but they just all lie to themselves, say like, oh, it is, like you can eventually work up, become a manager, right? And I'm thinking to myself, am I really going to sit here on a freezing cold job site to make what 40, 50 grand a year, maybe eventually in 5 years' time? Like, nah, that's
Mm,
not it. That's just not happening. Do you know what I mean? There's no purpose. You're just around guys that are complaining all the time. Energy's low, not getting a good conversation, just listen. All they talk about, you know yourself. You were in construction, I'm sure before. Um, just complain all day, every day. Come home shattered, same thing day in, day out. And I was like, there is no chance I am doing this the rest of my life. It is not happening. But I just didn't have a sense of like clear direction. Do you know what I
mhm.
mean? I think that was the biggest thing is actually having something to do. Because it's all good and well saying, don't want to do this. It's not for me. But what do you do then?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's that repeated cycle I was going through when I was trying to do everything by myself.
So was that what motivated you being on site, being around these low energy guys who complain, right? Going home shattered. Is that what motivated you to want to try everything under the sun then online? You said drop shipping, trading, uh, everything else. Like run us through. Like what was the first thing you started?
So the first thing, well, this was maybe like 2, 3 years ago now. I tried drop shipping. Everyone tried drop shipping when they were a bit younger. I'm sure you probably gave it a shot as well, right? setting up Shopify, learning how to do
Yeah.
Facebook ads. All my ad accounts got banned. I was doing it all by myself, just wasn't getting the traction, right? Can you make money? Potentially, yes. Is there low profit margins? Yes. It's not what it's made out to be, right? And I was thinking, obviously after that, I tried trading, got into some trading groups, fucking lost a shit ton of money, probably 3, 4K in trading, tried to go do my own strategy for demo, just wasn't getting it, didn't have the support that I needed there at all. Tried affiliate marketing, all sorts, literally all sorts. But the main thing is I was going through phases of doing it for like say 5 months, on that tipping point of maybe seeing some profit, and then just falling off and saying shiny object syndrome,
Yeah.
right? That's when it got to the point where I was like, no, I need like an actual skill set that I can take for the rest of my life that's going to set me up so that I can either start like a marketing agency, an actual solid foundational business, whatever that's going to be in the future. I'm quite good where I'm at right now,
Hmm.
still building up my skills. But that was the main thing for me, was actually finding a skill set and direction and actual proper guidance to get to that point.
When you talk about lad, like you get to the 5 mark, 6 month mark, where you could just be on the edge of actually being successful, but then kind of falling off. Because I know a lot of people can relate to that. A lot of guys do that. For you, then, like, why do you feel like you were falling off? I know you talk about shiny object syndrome, but for you, it's like, oh, this isn't working. I want to try something else.
Yep, 100%. What happened was, well, in my instance, right, I don't want to speak for everyone, but in my instance personally, what was happening is I just hated that job so much. I was like, I know I don't want to be here. I need to be trying something, right? And because I was going home at night, so
Yeah.
frustrated that nothing was working, it was getting to the point where I would end up going back on YouTube and a different video would pop up of a different model. I'm thinking, oh, that looks great. I can make money here. This thing's not been working for 5 months because I've not had the right direction. Let me just try this instead. That seems pretty easy. But then what it just goes over and over and over. And before I knew what happened, I was 2 years down the line, had lost probably like 20K in trying different things. Now that's to anyone else that sounds like a shit ton of money, but for me it was like I don't care, whatever it takes. But just without that like actual actionable steps and a skill set
Mm,
behind that to actually level up, it just wasn't becoming reality.
that's mental, lad. Because you would keep going home. You'd mentioned you come home late. Like, how many hours a day were you working?
Bro, I was doing like, because obviously I've spent quite a bit of money. If anyone else is an apprentice watching this, they'll be thinking, how is that little guy able to afford
Yeah.
that on
Yeah.
apprentice
Yeah.
wages, right? I was working all sorts of overtime, bro, as well, just trying to get money so that I could funnel it into something else.
Mhm.
Um, so Bro, my typical hours were like maybe 40 hours a week. Then usually do like a bit later at night. Sometimes it'd be 10 hours, do the weekend shift, just whatever it was. What I actually found was beneficial looking back on the situation, right? Well, first off, I would have bloody left in second year if I knew I was going to be at this position now, knowing what the journey is actually like. You just need to
Yeah.
dedicate yourself for 6 months and you're there, right? But looking back on it, really people think, oh, I need to have X amount saved up
Mm,
before I can start this, or I'm going to sit and work a year of my life and save up all this money and then I'm going to do something. But really, like, there's different options that you can take on the table that allow you to get started faster. Like, you don't need to have massive bloody 20K all piled up. Like, if I had done that, I would never have been here.
mhm.
Do you know what I mean? That's just the way that it goes. You just need to take like that kind of that little bit of risk, that little bit of get over that first hurdle. And on the other side of that, bro, it's fucking life's amazing right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I know for me personally, it's like a lot of guys get very intimidated when it comes to investing in themselves, right? And trying different things. You talk about like obviously you're just so motivated to get out of your job. I know for me, when it came to me actually taking the first step to invest in myself, I thought back to like all the hardship I went through on site because I was a mechanical fitter. So I'm in big quarries and I am doing the worst work ever, right? Covering dirt, stick welding, getting burned, getting shocked by it when it rains. And I remember thinking back, being like, I went through so much hardship to get that money. Like, I do not want to fork this out because of
Hmm.
what I went through. But I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of guys get caught up with this mindset in themselves, where it's like, I went through such hardship. I'm not gonna, put that into myself. But it's like you mentioned, right? You only need so much. It's not like you're gonna go broke at the end of the day. It's not like you can't keep working. But it's like, why do you save up this investment in the first place for? Is it so you can look at it in the bank, or is it so you can actually invest in yourself to get to a position where you want to be later on in life instead of slaving for someone else? For you as well, man, like you talked about, you would keep going home on YouTube. watching videos. Next thing, 2 years it went past because you kept looking at different ones. Run me through, lad. Like, what happened for you to finally decide, right, I actually need to learn a skill set and actually get the right coaching then? Because 2 years is a long time.
100%, bro. I think the main thing was ego. Biggest thing was ego, right? And ego, like even with what we're doing right now, like it just kills everything. You
Yeah.
can't have an ego, right? Anyone that like if I was looking back now, I would have probably slapped myself in the face, thinking, "What are you doing?" Do you know what I mean? Like all these kids think, "Yeah, drop shipping. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be so easy. I'm gonna do it all by myself." It's so stupid. Like you're not gonna become a bloody millionaire from never having a coach, right? All the best players, Ronaldo, Messi, they still have a fucking coach.
Yeah.
It's stupid, right? So the biggest thing for me was looking back on that 2 years and actually sitting down and reflected on myself and going, right, I have actually blown that 2 years. I might have learned a lot about different business models. I might know a little bit about the market, right? But I've blown X amount of money and X amount of time and X amount of energy, and I'm still nowhere further forward than where I'm at right now.
Hmm.
And that was probably the biggest thing, 100% is ego all the time. It's just you need to be able to actually learn and adapt. And otherwise you're never going to get any better. If you don't let someone help you, you're never going to get any further than what you are right now.
Hmm. So what was that realization for you though over the 2 years? Was it just one day where you look back and was like, fuck me, like I've just wasted 2 years of my life? Or was there like a catalyst for you realizing that, lad? Or was it just like, no, you know what? I'm actually sick of this. I'm still at work. Nothing's changed. I've just wasted 2 years.
100%. There's never like a I did have like I can remember like a specific day, right, where I was on site.
Right.
It was fucking freezing, bro. I was picking up like cold, I don't know if you know, like cold bits of trunking, right, with ice on it. And I was like, there's no way. Like, I'm just walking back on site carrying this big 3 meter long length of trunking. This is not it. But the biggest thing is, even though ego, I say ego to not learn, right? Your ego tries to defend what you've done.
Yeah.
So my ego was telling me, yeah, but you're trying, you're still putting in this effort, you're investing yourself, you're doing great. When really it's a load of bullshit.
Mm.
Because if I was doing so great, I would have been at the job, I would have been a lot happier, making the money that I want, living the lifestyle that I want. And it's just all bullshit. Do you know what I mean? The sooner someone can come to cut that out of their life, yeah, that's when you start to make progress and get to where you want to be.
Ego and mental masturbation is just the two killers of everyone because like I'm going home in the evenings and I understand everything about dropshipping. I know I need a product. I know I need to run ads. I know I need to do all this market research. And it's great you've got your notebook filled with notes because I was the exact same. I'm like, oh, I'm taking down so much stuff. Because I wanted to start copywriting, writing down all notes, 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 notes. End of the day, I'm like, right, I am no further forward. And I've just wasted the full day taking notes. Like
Yeah,
nothing has actually changed. But in
100%.
saying that though, right, you realize that something needed to change. You took the step, you invested in yourself to learn the skills. Talk me through that then, because what was your journey like then when you first started into the program, into the academy?
The first step, the same with every single person, right? Is you're on the call, right? You're sitting there, you're going, there's a big decision that I need to make, right? When really looking back, it's the smallest decision ever. Like looking back, I would have done it 2 years before that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I honestly wish I'd done it sooner. But you can't really think like that. But on the call, you're thinking, right, okay, fuck it. I have to commit myself. There's no way I'm letting this carry on for any longer. It's an absolute joke. But the journey, like, you know yourself, when you get into something new, because it's like the unknown,
Hmm.
your brain starts to go into hyperdrive. Um, starts going, oh, what if this? What if this? See, when you actually start the structure that's laid out in front of you, you start to break it down, you start to get help, you start to communicate with other people and their journeys as well, what's going on for them. It all just starts to quickly fall into place
Yeah.
because it's like going out at the weekend with lads that are in your area, right? You feel comfortable around that. That becomes your known environment. The
Yeah.
exact same thing when you start something online. There's
Mhm.
guys doing there, guys passionate, guys already successful, higher up than you. You just need to get in and be like ambitious and know that the opportunity is there. You just need to go out and take it. And that's
Yeah,
all it
like
really is.
a lot of guys, like you said, what if this happens? What if this happens? So many people get into their own head because they're now stepping into something. They don't know if it's going to work out. They don't know if it's going to be for them. They don't know if they're going to actually get the results they're after. They don't know if they're going to fall off. But that's the whole point of it. You don't know. That's the whole point of starting something new. If you want a different outcome than everyone else, you have to do something that everyone else isn't doing. But then whenever you take the step and you realize and you have everything laid out, you're like, okay, I actually have a structure now. I actually have a plan that I can work off to actually get to where I want to get to. For you, like what was that process like, man? Like what was the structure like? How did you find the actual structure of the program and when you were learning at the start then to get your skill set?
100%. Just want to build off something quickly that you've said there, right? Because this minute I landed into the program, right, you can see the structures in front of you, right? You can see all of these different things. And you start thinking to yourself, Jesus Christ, like, do I even have the time to do this? Like, I'm
Mm,
working all these hours, like, I've still got my mates, I've still got this going on, that going on, right? And really, what the biggest thing for me was is priority, like setting your priorities out so good that I was structuring everything off of a Google Calendar to make sure, like, there is no way, because at the end of the day, there is no guarantee in life.
yeah.
There's no guarantee, but you are guaranteed that if you don't do any work, you don't push the needle forward, you're getting nowhere. That's the only guarantee you've got, right? So I thought, nah, fuck that, it's not happening. Set everything up through a Google Calendar, which made it consistent, which meant that every single thing I was doing was structured in a way that I knew if I did this, the exact same steps as so many hundreds of other people have done right in front of me, there is no way that I can't get the same result, if not better result than them.
Mhm.
That's the exact structure that I followed. I just told myself that every single day. There's guys there out there doing it. I just need to be doing the same things what they are.
Yeah. So for you, it was right. I can see, I can see he got the result. So all I have to do is the work, and there's absolutely no reason why I won't get the same result as him because the proof's in the pudding. Then essentially,
100%, bro. The biggest thing as well is when you're on sites and things like that, people will call themselves, "Oh, I graft so hard, I graft so hard, I do this,
yeah.
right?" But that kind of transitional period, bro, of like them being scared to actually put graft in, like actual physical work where you are genuinely exhausted. Bro, I done it a bit. I probably should have. My transitional period, right, for like 3 months straight, bro, right? I was going to work, right? Going to work. At like 6 a.m., right? Going to work at 6, getting back at the house at 4 or 5, grafting on my skills for the rest of the time till like 12, done that consistently. Then there's a month where I was going through the transitional period of getting on my first offer, like landing my first role, right? And what happened, bro, I was put on night shift at my work
Yeah.
at the Sparky work, right? And I'm thinking to myself that at that point I could have just left. Like I could have stopped doing all the sales training, I could have stopped doing it all, right? I was thinking to myself, no, there's no way, right? So when I on my first offer, bro, I was working from like 9 a.m., right? 9 a.m. till like 12 a.m. and then doing a night shift off the back of that, getting 3 hours sleep for a month straight, bro. That is graft. If anyone wants to
Mm.
say the word graft, that is hard work. Obviously not everyone's experience is going to be the same as that, but hopefully that goes to show that if you want it that badly,
Mm.
it's it's in front of you. Do you know what I mean? You
So
just need
if you ever hear someone say the excuse of I don't have the time, what would your answer be to that then?
well, first off, you call them a bitch, right? But second off, realistically, second off, it's like that. Well, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
How bad do you want it? Because everything that you want is in front of you. All you have to do is start. And the hardest part about the whole thing is just starting. See, once you've done it, it just goes smooth sailing. Like it really, as long as you're consistent with your habits, you speak to people about it, it's consistent. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, for you coming in at the very start as a beginner to then land in your first closing role, how long was that period?
For me, bro, it was too long because my ego kept coming back in,
Hmm.
kept eating me up. Um, how long was it? Maybe six months or something like that. Far too, obviously, I had appointment setter roles, right? Had appointment setter roles, making decent bit of money through that. Um, and then landed my first role. But it took me, see if I had zapped that ego sooner, bro. Looking back, if I had zapped that ego, I'd have had a role in 2, 3 months easy.
Hmm.
So easy, bro. But it's just like you need to actually be absorbent of the information that people are telling you because you could get taught information, coached information. But if you're not taking it on, if you're not letting someone help you out that is already where you want to be, it just doesn't happen. It took me a bit longer to get to that stage. Does that make sense?
Regardless of how long it took you, 6 months is not a long time, right?
Oh,
180 days to learn and develop a skill set, to land a closing role, to then leave your job forever because of your skill set. It takes you 4 years to get qualified as a spark to still not get that great of money. Whereas you come in and you can learn a skill. A lot of people would procrastinate for 6 months, whereas they could be in a position now that can change the trajectory of their life. But in saying that, man, you've landed a new offer. Can you give us details on what the offer is and like how you've been going with that then?
100%, bro. So I preferred, obviously, there's two ways you go. You go B2B, you go B2C,
Yeah.
right? I'm thinking to myself, well, I've got all this kind of external experience. I've tried some different things. I quite like the B2B market. I kind of want to work my way up that ladder, right?
For anybody
Obviously,
watching, B2B is business to business sales. Sorry to interrupt you, bro. Going ahead.
all good, bro. I'm just so used to it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm selling on a business to business, which is basically selling different lead generation
Mm.
strategies to business owners, agencies, consultants, PRs, things like that, right? Basically allowing them to get more appointments booked in their calendar, close at a higher percentage, and really just target their processes much better, getting specific to their niche, who it is they want to speak to. Ticket price for that was around about 6K, and then I get 12% of every deal closed. So for any one of you watching, if I take between 8 to 10 calls a day, you can imagine what that works out as.
Works out a bit better than walking through a cold site, sparking then. Is that what you're saying?
100%, bro. Let's not set false expectations because the first month, as you know, didn't close a whole lot of deals at all. I was panicking. I thought I went for that stage. I'd left my job behind. Didn't know if I'd passed my trade test. So to give you a bit of context, sat my trade test, same day, right? Left it. I was like, nope, no way, not going back. Didn't know if I'd passed it. I thought, fuck it, don't care. Told my parents I'd passed it, so they got off my back. Came in, left same day for that first month, bro. Maybe closed like one, two deals. Did not
Mm.
make a lot of money. I'm thinking, oh my God, I've probably made the worst mistake in my life, right? And then the next couple of months went by. 3 days into my first month, I made more through that than what I would in 3 days than what I would have a month on site, which is absolutely fucking crazy.
What do you feel like that transition was in? Do you feel like it was like the build up of you had your trade there, you just left your job, your parents are up your ass? Was it then like having the relief to actually being able to take the calls in and focus more?
100%, bro. It's like when you're constantly like fixated on it, kind of panicking, anxiety's a bit high, you never perform at the way. But
Mm.
what I had to realize was sit down and go, right, I've done the hard work. Like I've literally done all the training. I've got a good backing, right? I've got boys I can speak to get calls reviewed and things like that. Now all I need to do is just take everything that I've learned and actually do it on a call without being stressed out, without panicking, right? Because I'm not so much now, but I used to be very, very introverted. I thought sales was never going to be for me. So that's why I went appointment setting first. But once you start to get over that initial fear, you are actually going, do you know what? I actually do know quite a lot. You take it on the calls. As soon as I had that realization, it just clicked and that was
Mm.
it.
So obviously for you now, man, you've put the work in, you've now left your job, you're now selling B2B full time. What would your advice be to someone who's maybe on the fence right now? Maybe they're making excuses in their head to procrastinate. Maybe they're saying they don't have enough time. Maybe their parents are up their ass as well. And like maybe they're scared of the judgment because you touched on before that like if you do this outside Glasgow you're from, everybody says gay, gay, gay. Like what would your advice be to someone then who's maybe on the fence and wants to make a change?
100%. I'm just thinking about talking to my old self.
Yeah.
So what I would say would be if you sit right now and think, what have I done this last year to get me anywhere closer to where I want to be? Guaranteed for 90% of people, it's going to be not a lot or nothing, right? Anything that you say, yeah, but I've done this, yeah, but I've done that. Anything after that, but is just an excuse. That's your ego talking. Like I was saying earlier in this video, it's just your ego talking to you. Really, the biggest form of traction that you can take is starting something.
Mm.
Starting something. Do you know what I mean? Start learning an actual skill set that's going to actually allow you to develop on and get to the life that you want.
Yeah.
It's just cut out the ego. Like everyone's got time. Everyone's got time for it. Do you know what I mean?
A lot of guys would say as well that I want a plan B. I don't want to work my trade, but I want to finish it out as a plan B. I guess like what would be your opinion on that? Obviously, because you were
But
about to
I've
sit the
got
exam and then
I've got
left.
a brilliant opinion on that, brother. A brilliant opinion on that, right? Because I done that, right? Or I thought I did. So it got to the end of the apprenticeship. I'm thinking, yeah, I need this plan B so that my parents got off my ass. I've got a fallback plan. That plan B's sitting for if anything goes wrong. I sat the test, right? Jumped into the closing role, left it. So I left the sparking. Jumped in the closing room, right? 2 weeks later, got a letter to the door. Yeah, sorry, unfortunately, you've failed, right? And I've still not been back and sat the test again. So, for anyone listening, right, you should have left it 2 years ago. Like, you should have just left it because I done that, right? And it was the biggest waste of fucking time ever because I could have been so much further on right now
Mm.
if I'd done that years ago. So, as someone that has been through that experience, yeah, I want this plan B. It's a fucking waste of time, honestly.
See, a lot of guys would say, "Oh, but if this falls through, or if this tanks, I've got something to fall back on," right? I don't think a lot of people realize that's like if something falls through, same thing as being a spark. If you lose your job, you get another spark with you, or you get another job with your sparky skill set, right? With this, you've got so many different options to go through. You started off B2C, e-learning, then transitioned selling business to business, right? So I guess if someone was to give you, I guess that excuse, like what would your, I guess, thought process be to that?
I would ask them how easy it is to find another electrician job. Because
Mhm.
guaranteed you could ask any one of them and they'll say, yeah, I could probably have a job by like 2 weeks. The exact same.
Mhm.
If the offer falls through, if I'm not closing the deals at the percent that I want, if something goes wrong, something goes bad, pick up the phone. Hiya, bro. Do you know anyone wanting to take me on? Cool. Monday, done. Like it's not that deep. It's really not that deep.
Because it's the same thing, bro. You've got the skill set. You can transition into any other sales you want. There's so many different remote offers out there. Well, Daniel, bro, I really appreciate you jumping on this call and having a yarn with me, man. And I'm keen to jump back on with you in 6 months and see how further forward you are, brother.
100%, bro. Buzzing for it.